Following a long-standing shutdown, more than 12,000 employees at the General Services Administration and Office of Personnel Management agencies are going to be paid today. This comes as workers in the Department of Energy, Veteran Affairs, and HHS are expected to get their paychecks tomorrow. Pressure is rising for President Trump to tackle affordability issues as consumer costs are on the rise heading into the holiday season. Millions of Americans are struggling to keep up with increasing prices on things like clothing and food.
We're at a breaking point, so we're dying. I can't charge $25 for 2 tacos and rice and beans. I can't do that. So something's got to give.
We've never seen meat prices quite as high as they are right now.
Well, the president is planning to launch a national rally tour to push his economic agenda and fight against claims of escalating inflation. We're going to bring in our political power panel to talk about it today. We have John Deaton. He's a GOP strategist running to unseat Democratic U.S. Senator Ed Markey in Massachusetts. And Taryn Rosenkranz is the founder and CEO of the New Blue Interactive. She is also the former managing director for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Nice to have you both. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having
Taryn,
us.
I'll start with you. What do you make of Trump's pushback against the affordability concerns, and what do you think needs to be addressed for U.S. families to feel like things are looking up?
Yeah, well, I know that we just saw the numbers come out, and we're seeing that the prices actually have gone up since he's taken office, not come down. And I know that that was really his campaign promise to folks, for affordability. We also have this government shutdown that people weren't getting paid, and we were seeing sort of the signs of that. He kind of juxtaposed that against his Great Gatsby party the other day and some of the other stuff of these symbolic of him building this big gilded ballroom. And you're seeing that the American people are definitely losing patience. Those numbers are just hard to sustain, and I'm sure that he understands how important it is that he actually does what he promises, because people are impatient, and they certainly are feeling the grind every day about how unaffordable things are at the grocery store, and they're feeling it. I mean, you heard from the owner of that restaurant there saying just how hard it is for everyone, and I know every American family right now is feeling it.
Yeah, he is taking action as far as the tariffs go. He is rolling back some of them on citrus, we've just learned, bananas, cocoa, coffee. But, John, Democrats are seeing this distrust in the economy, as we're seeing here from Taryn, as an opportunity to advocate for some of their policies. Take a listen to what former Obama speechwriter Jon Favreau said on Pod Save America.
Taking healthcare off the table by extending the ACA subsidies would have been a political gift to Donald Trump and the Republicans. Sure. It wouldn't be an issue in the 26 midterms. And now Republicans will have to vote against ACA subsidies in a couple months, and it'll be one of the most salient issues in 2026 in an election that will be about affordability, and voters will very clearly know who's on which side. And the anger at Trump, which has been fueled by affordability concerns that brought down his approval rating, that's not going away.
All right, so we know this is obviously a far-left podcast there, but John, are Republicans taking these economic pain points for everyday families serious enough?
Well, they're going to have to. Listen, I got in the race against Ed Markey because of these career politicians, both Republicans and Democrats, who have stolen the prosperity of young folks. I'm someone out here that's been saying, let's not call Zoran Mondani names. Let's figure out why he's resonating with everyday Americans. And it's because they can't afford to live. They're spending over 50% of their net on housing alone. Then when you add the grocery prices, energy prices, and everything else, child care costs, for example, and now these health care costs, it is an issue, and President Trump's going to have to address it. And I think that when you see people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that there's a disconnect, it's time for the White House and everyone to take it serious, because it's the #1 issue in America today.
Yeah, look, Mamdani won, and just as he was beginning to rise, his critics said, he's just really good at social media, just has this great smile, but he clearly struck a nerve on this affordability issue. I do want to turn to some shakeups in the Democratic Party. That's one of them. But reports are showing more Democrats are calling for Senator Chuck Schumer to step aside as minority leader. Taryn, do you think that we might see some retaliation against the Democrats who cut this shutdown deal?
I think what you're going to see, quite honestly, is a lot of people in an anti-incumbent, both Democrats and Republicans. I mean, that's the sentiment we're up against this cycle. And I think as you see the midterms happen, you're going to see that anyone who's an incumbent is going to have to show that they are addressing affordability. I couldn't agree more that that's the most important issue facing this country. And if we can't figure out a way to make sure that we're there, those incumbents are going to be facing a lot of challenges. And so I do think that it's not unusual. New York is an interesting state, and certainly an interesting example over the years. And certainly AOC came to power from challenging someone who had been an incumbent for many years. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if this happened. But I also don't think that it's necessarily as widespread as this anti-incumbent sentiment will be.
Okay, well, it's been Democrats like Schumer and Fetterman, John, who have been more open anyway, to cutting deals with Republicans. Do you think a shakeup for more progressive leadership could pose a threat to the goals of Senate Republicans, or would it be a gift to Senate Republicans?
Well, I think it would be a gift, but I agree with Taryn that this is an incumbent issue when you have career politicians like Schumer, like Ed Markey, like Chuck Grassley. There's a generational change. I mean, listen, when you look at Democratic primary voters, 84% of them want someone to fight Trump tougher and harder. And so I think that you're going to see someone like AOC, who the polling shows are up 19 points right now ahead of Chuck Schumer. I think the writing's on the wall for some of these career politicians. Listen, it's why I'm in the race. Ed Markey's been there since 1976.
Okay. All right, Taryn, on to you. I mean, we look to the young people for, what's going to be the future, right? And young people don't view socialism the same way baby boomers do, or even my generation. Is socialism the future of the Democratic Party?
I don't think anything can be taken too much from the results of a New York City mayoral race, just because New York City obviously has different parties. They have multi-party system. They had ranked choice voting. They had really a kind of a unique situation. But I do think these ideas kind of boil back down to that word we've been using a lot of, affordability. Like, are we better off? Are our families? Do we feel like we can give our children better lives? And that's what's most important to people. And I think that idea was something that Trump touched on. And now you're seeing that Democrats are like, hey, we're the party actually fighting for these things, not for these gilded ballrooms. We're the ones actually fighting to keep your healthcare premiums down. We're the ones who want this to be less expensive, and we're doing everything we can. I think that's the sentiment that's going to keep brewing.
I think the sticking point on this ballroom, it seems to be, if you hate Trump, you hate the ballroom. If you love Trump, you love the ballroom, or at least you don't mind it. John, quick reaction to what Taryn said before we go.
No, I think that obviously affordability is driving everything. Listen, people in New York voted for both President Trump and Mondami because they're not looking for ideology. They're looking for solutions to their real world problems. And the person who brings solutions has a chance to get these incumbents out.
All right, GOP strategist John Deaton and Democratic strategist Taryn Rosenkranz, thank you to both of you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
20 minutes before the top of the hour.